God, I look kind of washed out. Yee. Hi, everybody. It's been a while. When's the last time I was on the show?
I was here last week.
Last week, but I wasn't. Yeah.
So
hello. Hi, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. How are y'all doing on this? It's a lovely Sunday here for us in Arizona.
Yeah.
Don't know how it is everywhere else. Whoops. But yeah, so we are here today to talk a little bit about sewing machine maintenance and fabric care. Thanks for joining Cos Talk Live. I am sorry, my eyeballs are like giving me problems. I'm Jinx Cosplay. I've been cosplaying since 2001, and I am based here in Gilbert, Arizona. I am not in cosplay because I have an RL job to go to right after this. So I apologize for the lack of cosplay. Go ahead.
And I'm going to the same thing you're going to afterwards. So I was like, I'm not getting dressed up either. I'm just going to wear, well, I put a wig on, but that's just because like I showered at night last night and usually I'm a morning shower, but I had to get a whole bunch of makeup off of me from being a Twi'lek. And when I woke up this morning, my hair was wild. And I'm like, I don't feel like trying to deal with that.
Sam is gonna stop by. I'll mention what it is because if you're a local, if you're local, I'd love to see you stop by. My RL job is a nonprofit, and we're doing. We collaborated with some artists to create stickers, prints, and even like temporary tattoos, like really fun stuff. And we're a health advocacy group, so health is not fun, so we're trying to make it fun. So we're actually going to be at Zing Fu Tang Boba. In Mesa Riverview from 2 to 4, giving away free boba while supplies last, stickers, prints, art. So just come by and see us. You can come by and say hi to me, but really it's to support the community. So Sam's going to come by and support, and of course, boba, because their boba is really, really good. If that name sounds familiar, we've held our cost swap there and a meetup there. So they're really great people. Come by and see us 2 to 4 p.m., all you localites. So yeah, Sam, did you want to introduce yourself and kind of take it from there so I can do some sharing?
Sure. Can you guys still hear me? Because I'm doing something crazy because I got to add another camera. So.
Yeah.
All right. I am Sam from Thermo Cosplay. I've been cosplaying since 2014. You guys know me. I've been around for a while. I like to experiment with like costume materials and fabrics and doing things with them that weren't necessarily meant to be done with them, figuring out how to make them crazy. So that's kind of my thing. I like to push the boundaries of, for instance, stretch fabric. I like to make it stand up and defy gravity, which is usually easier to do with non-stretch because the woven feature of non-stretch is a little bit sturdier. But, that's just me. And right now I'm getting ready to add another camera because I am going to show you guys my sewing machine. But I'm going to mute myself because I have to figure out which camera I want to, or which, I think I'll work from this microphone. I think it's a stronger one, but we'll see.
Okay.
Let me mute.
Good morning. Papa Fallout says, good morning from Facebook. Thank you so much for checking us out. And
wait, we're going to laugh. It's Samception.
Samception? What?
Why is it doing that?
Hey, Cool Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. That's my cat's tail. Whoa. It keeps
I don't know what's
jumping
going
in
on.
and out.
I think it's a issue. Also, this is supposed to be muted. Why is this? Oh, I know what's going on.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, don't touch it. Leave it alone.
I'm not touching anything.
Oh, what the heck, man?
Not me. Okay, guys. Well, if you have any questions about sewing machines or fabrics, or even for us, because it's been kind of a while, I think we might be due for a chatting one, but a chatting episode. So we'll see. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really weird because like I'm watching the subtitles and the subtitles aren't continuing. Oh, maybe that's why.
Did you do something goofy?
No, sometimes my cat steps on my keyboard.
Ooh, bad
I think she
kitty.
stepped on my keyboard on her way out. Hold on a second.
Seriously, just stay in there. Okay, and also,
Okay, so here we are. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome me back. Sam's getting her second camera set up. She's going to share her sewing machine, how she kind of maintains it, takes care of it. And then we're going to talk about fabrics. We've also, we've got a lot of cool stuff I want to talk about too, but I guess we didn't really prep Sam because I have to like keep it to a minimum. But I'll talk about some other stuff while you're doing that. If anyone's going to Phoenix Fan Fusion, did you manage to get it going? Phoenix Fan Fusion. I myself will be a guest there. Cost Talk Live will not be a guest. However, it'll be under my umbrella. So you can still come and see the team. The whole team will still be there. And then I'm also going to be back for judging, or not judging. Sam's judging the masquerade. And then she's also helping with the youth masquerade, herself and Amber Skies. And then I will be back to host the masquerade with Chris Warakti. So if you are going to Phoenix Fan Fusion, throw in the chat. We'd love to see you guys, as always. And then, yeah, let us know like what your plans are for Phoenix Fan Fusion, what you might be wearing. Yeah, it's a long ways out, and we're not really doing much before then, which I'm glad about. I really have needed to take some time and like, chillax. The only thing that we're kind of planning is like maybe in May, doing like a group to go see The Little Mermaid in theaters and do a cosplay group. That's kind of it. And then Sam's going to SakuraCon. SakuraCon is the second weekend of April. So that's April 7, 8, 9, I believe.
No, it's April 6th. Hang on, maybe it is.
Oh, 6, 7, 8.
It is 7, 8, 9. You're right. I forgot it's not a Thursday. It doesn't have a Thursday. I'm arriving on Thursday, but it doesn't actually have a Thursday.
Oh, yes. And that is the thing. So lots of cool stuff going on. If you remember our previous guest, Lavi Cosplay, I believe.
You know what's sad is both of their panels are the same time as panels I'm doing. So I'm gonna have to like.
They're live panels the same time?
Yep. Both of them. That
sucks. Well, go and support them anyway if you can. I mean, support Sam as well. But we love to have support for our fellow shows and podcast hosts and such. So how's it looking, Sam?
What?
How's it looking?
It's a sewing machine.
Do you want to talk about the model of your sewing machine?
Yeah, so my sewing machine is it's a Singer heavy duty. I think it's like 40 something or whatever, but Singer heavy duty. It's an industrial sewing machine. So that means that it has, oh look.
Whoa.
Yeah, but it's an industrial sewing machine. So what that means is that it's I'm trying to position this to where I can do what I need to do and show you guys too. But it's not got any computerized components in it. So there's no like microchip or anything like that to deal with. Nothing of that case. It's just a very simple mechanical machines. So I prefer the mechanical machines because they're a lot easier to manage. When you don't do mechanical and you do the computerized, you run into issues with whether or not the chips function well enough and just a lot of other complications. So,
and on average, it costs more to get repaired.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm using the Singer oil. So this is an oil for the machine, and that will go in any of the areas that have like that have like joints and stuff. So I'll show you what I mean by that. I've got like, pretty sure I still have, I have to double check that I still have like all my tools in here that I use to take it apart. Usually I use mostly just like Yeah, here we go. So it comes with like tools that you can use to take it apart, and it should work pretty well to unscrew everything. Sometimes I have to get like a different screw for it, but that's that's the way of things. So this is
So
the oil that I use
how
on
often do you need to oil, and then where do you oil?
twice a year, and I'm going to
Mhm.
show where to oil because it varies. And then on the gears themselves, which are usually only in the bottom, you have to use lube. So when we apply this, I have to put gloves on because you have to apply it liberally, and you do not want this on your hands. So should probably get some gloves right here.
Cosplay
Yay,
cat
I'm next to
Kiwi.
all of my stuff. Since I reorganized, I can just grab everything easier.
You can see how messy my space is. Sorry, guys. I thought people might want to see Kitty. So.
Kitty. Okay.
Kitty.
So let me see if maybe I can adjust this camera to where like I could put this over here.
So sewing machine oil is very different. You can get them at the fabric stores or sewing stores. Don't use cooking oil or any kind of like coconut. Don't like all you need. They come in these little tiny tubes as well, which makes it really easy to apply. And then check your manual on where you need to oil because every machine's going to be different.
So I'm gonna pull up. I have like a thing that I follow for oiling my machines. So let me do that.
Typically, where it needs oiling are where there's metal pieces that move together, like pistons or joints or something. So you can usually see those pretty easily. But again, just check your manual, and you don't need a lot of oil. It doesn't take a lot of oil. Very, very small amounts. So this is Kiwi Cat, Cosplay Cat. She's demanding of my attention right now, everybody. I apologize. I have to multitask. So let's see. She slept with me all night and she still needs my attention. Hi, Catty.
She just misses you.
Look at these toe beans. Look at toe beans. Your toe beans. I like when she bends her foot like that. Why are you bending your foot? Huh?
You're good.
She's a silly kitty, Kiwi. And then everybody also is at WonderCon, which I really want to try and go to next year. I'm trying to convince Sam to come. Has anybody been to WonderCon in the chat? Let us know. I went in 2019.
I just need to get something. I left it here.
Yeah, I went in 2019, had a blast. We did the Muses from Hercules group, and we won most humorous, which is funny because that's apparently not what our our organizer crew was trying to do, but it happened. So that was a lot of fun, and I really am dying to go back. So yeah, looks like Sam's looking for some equipment here.
Yeah, I found it. I lost my little brush.
And yeah, so guys, let us know if you have any questions in the chat. We are happy to share.
So like one rule of thumb when you are doing work on a sewing machine is you should never have it ever have the electricity on. So like just don't. A lot of people are like, well, I need a light, so you're just gonna have to light it up then. But do not have the electricity on. Please don't hurt yourself potentially.
Yeah, make sure it's unplugged.
Yeah, we don't want people to hurt themselves. So I'm gonna change the camera on this so it looks like it's closer, but I'm gonna move this further away. And then that way I can show you guys a better view. Okay, that should be good. All right, so now it looks like it's close, but it's not, and I can actually work on it. So, hi. All right, so like one of the big things you want to do is you want to make sure that you have like the needle removed. So there's a little tab up at the top that you can, it's like right here that you just remove the needle with. So you want to take the needle out, and this one's an old needle, so I'm going to need to toss it.
And how often do you change your needles? How often do you change your needles?
Anytime I change fabrics. Or if after I've sewn like one full garment. Then I have a bottom loader for my, it got stained when I was using a specific suede that apparently put new color, and I cannot get the color off of this. I don't know. So
as long as it doesn't affect its operation, it should be fine.
Right? Yeah. And then one thing I always see people do, I think I left my scissors over here too. I did. One thing I see people do a lot is they pull the thread out from the top of the sewing machine. Don't do that. So right here where you see where the thread ends, so you're going to want to cut it at the top. So you'll cut it right at the top, and then you'll pull through this way. You should never pull thread the back way, or it builds up dust inside of the, like, up here it builds.
Even though I'm very guilty of doing that.
Yeah, it builds dust in this area. So you always want to trim at the top and then pull the thread out down below. So,
that being said, it is wise to constantly, dust. Sometimes I use a where is it? Oh, I don't have it here. One of those compressed air cans, especially with sergers, because sergers get tons and tons of lint. So always go, top to bottom when using or dusting, just getting a little paintbrush and dusting things out. That helps too.
Yeah, so I'm going to use, like, they have a flat end of this tool. I'm going to use this to unscrew the plate that you have here that has the feed dogs attached to it. So, Jess, what's a feed dog?
A feed dog. What is a feed dog?
Yeah.
It's the little thing that, like, moves the fabric. It's like...
They look like little teeth, and they move the fabric along. And yes. I will tell you, if you're doing fabric that's, like, leather or pleather or has, like, it's, like, I guess, tacky is a good way to put it. You'll want to make sure that you have either some kind of
Teflon foot
that has Teflon, or you can cover the feed dogs with, like, tape, and it will feed it along faster. Problem is when you do that, then you're having to hand feed and control more. So sometimes you'll skip stitches. Because the feed dogs are there to make sure that the stitch is completely even.
Definitely those are more advanced materials, but there are ways to use them with a regular machine. Sometimes people will also add like tissue paper, like the kind that you use in, like, gift bags, because then you can easily tear those away.
Guys, look, this is sad. I forgot something. Look at this. Look at this. Forgot the coolest thing.
Sam forgot something? Shocking. That's what I was wondering when you said your light. I was like, what are you going to do with your light?
No. Why are you doing that?
Sam forgot her lights.
Yay.
Yay.
Hey. Yay. This shirt is so big and comfy. I just wore something, like, really comfortable today. Just, like, I don't want to,
So also, like, if you buy a brand new machine, it should come with a lot of the tools that you already need. However, I know a lot of people get hand-me-down tools.
And this place, people always freak out. You can take this plate off. That's why it has screws. You can take the plate off. It's okay. And what I like to check is underneath the plate. Sometimes you'll get a buildup, so always just kind of brush just gently under the plate. Normally it's not too bad. It's just like a little bit. It might be like a little oily or a little greasy, so you want to undo that there.
I mean, it's always good to clean anytime you can, because the buildup is going to cause a lot of problems. Sometimes a lot of problems that people have, like, for more beginner sewists. Sometimes the solution is, like, did you dust out all of the lint, especially in the bobbin holder when your bobbin starts getting stuck or starts skipping or getting tangled up. Sometimes there's just a bunch of lint in there.
Yeah, so right now I'm looking in there, and it's pretty clean. Like, overall, my area is pretty clean right now. You don't really see much dust. It's a little bit dirty in here, and I'll show you how much dirt comes out. But in general, it's pretty clean right now. So
probably should have shared my machine then, because I haven't maintained it in a while.
Wait, what?
I said probably should have shared my machine because it's probably dirtier.
I try to clean mine out pretty regularly because I work with materials that are a lot harder on the machine. Like, I use a lot of pleathers and leathers and vinyls. So you couldn't really see it, but now you can see that there was like actual like little
Mhm.
hair on there.
And that stuff
So,
builds up, including like
yeah.
along with oil, like that really needs to be cleaned out. I clean my serger a lot more often. I usually do between, big runs, because even during big runs, it cuts. If you don't know what a serger is, hi Ashley. Ashley says happy Sunday. We ran into Ashley while at Olympus the other day. I was creepily being like, Ashley, and she's like, what? So so yeah, definitely. My serger, if you don't know why a serger catches so much lint, it's because it has a cutter.
Yeah.
So sergers have to
Well, and
cut.
I'm about to add a cutting foot to this. There's one that you can sew into the side
Mm,
here,
you can
and it
make that
cuts.
into like a serger attachment, right?
Yeah, so it's going to generate a lot more fuzz.
Yeah. So sergers generate tons and tons of fuzz because of the cutting mechanism. And I clean mine out pretty often, especially every time I rethread, definitely clean it out. Always top to bottom. And then I use the pressurized air can sometimes if I need to get them out
You should
really
not
well.
do that. That actually damages the gears. It removes the grease from the gears, and it could
But then I re-grease
potentially.
it. Like I re-oil it. I don't do
It
it like
doesn't matter. You should just recommend, like, if you absolutely can get a better tool, like a small, like even a makeup brush, it's better than doing canned air because canned air affects the mechanical components.
mm. Sometimes I just do it on top to like get all the generic stuff out. But maybe
Like if
yeah.
it's on like the top of this and it's like not, and I wouldn't do it anything down here. You
Oh
could
yeah,
do the
okay.
top where the feeding is, but
Yeah.
nothing down in this area.
Okay.
I'll show, because you guys are about to see more of the sewing machine. I'm only showing the absolute basic right now, but you're going to
Good
see more.
call. But yeah, when I worked at
Also, of course, if having an animal, I keep finding my cat and dog's hair in here.
yeah. During the pandemic, I worked at a factory making hospital gowns, and I actually learned how to maintain the sergers a lot from working with these machines, because we used primarily sergers. So we would go through and clean all the dust, and we had a vacuum. It was more like a blower,
Yeah,
so
the little
obviously,
tiny vacuums that are like meant for them. They're really cool.
mhm. And it would like suck and blow. So, we could blow, and it wasn't like compressed air. It wasn't that strong. So it was like do a general blow, and then dust out.
Yeah,
And then of course we would vacuum we would sweep up whatever was on the
whatever
floor.
is there. So hopefully by the next stream we'll see. I'm ordering some stuff to put on my window that's going to be like rainbow, so that I can just not have as much light. We'll see.
But you'll have a rainbow.
Off rainbows.
Oh dear, Sam.
This is the problem in Arizona when it starts to get sunnier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know my window's right here. So,
Yeah.
and I love it. I love this big giant window, but we also need to put a new screen on it before summer comes because the screen got blown away in the last tsunami
So if you guys
or
have any
monsoon.
questions, let us know. I'm pretty much done cleaning this area out. I think I've got it pretty much set. It looks pretty good. I'm going to double check my little guide that I have and make sure that I've cleaned out everything I need to. And then I think the oil goes, oh yeah. I need to double check. I forgot. I need to get some tweezers. So there's this little center thing right here, and you kind of have to tweeze it out and then clean it. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. So a couple other great tools are tweezers, especially tweezers with the angled teeth or whatever you call it. Those are going to be great for getting things out that are stuck.
Yeah.
Long tweezers as well, especially if you use a serger. You need tweezers for a serger. It just makes it much easier to thread. But tweezers are definitely helpful for cleaning your machine, getting little weird bits out that you can't reach with the brush.
How did I get this out last time? Hang on.
You need a different pair of tweezers. I have a cat in my lap, so I can't move because, rule of cat. But, let me see if I can. Oh, I reached
like a little tiny thing in the center.
There we go.
Yeah, I might need smaller tweezers. I might be able to use this. I think I did this last time.
This is a pair of tweezers that I use. It's covered in resin, so this is actually my resin tweezers, but they're like similar ones that I use to clean out my machine. These you can get anywhere. They are just great for getting in weird angles, especially for sergers. I love these for sergers.
Yeah, they're like the best thing to get out. I think I know where my other tweezers are.
It's kind of weird, like being a crafter, like how many pairs of tweezers I have.
Yeah, I bought a couple pairs of tweezers mostly for managing my sewing machine. That's the funny thing about it. Oh no, the plastic's stuck on it. Okay, yeah, like you need like these tiny, tiny tweezers.
Yes. Oh, pointy tweezers too are very good.
Yeah, you see how much? You see that?
Wow.
Now this is supposed to be oiled. Like if I recall correctly, this is the oiling gear. And then you just put, yeah, so it looks pretty decently oiled right now. I may only need like a drop or two. If this was completely white, that's when you know you have too little oil and something's wrong.
Mm.
Am I loud enough right now? Am I too loud?
No, you're fine.
Okay. So here's a lot of people prefer the tweezers or the oil that has like a much bigger spout. I have tiny hands, so I don't really have to worry about like getting but like most people like, so this is where you would just take and you put a couple little drops, right? And I mean, I accidentally got some on that's it. That's all you need. Got some on my walk-in foot, but that's why I run through after you have oiled a machine, never use fabric that is really expensive. Like take some like muslin or something and run through, get any extra grease or oil out of it so that you don't ruin your fabric, because that would be really, really, really bad. But if I recall, I think this is all I have to oil on the bottom section. It's really, really simple. And you don't want to do too much oil here because you can actually like damage it pretty bad. So you just be really, really careful with how you oil it all.
Okay. So Matt is watching us. Hi, Matt.
Hi.
Was watching before my movie, decided to go solo date myself and see Scream 6.
Aww. Okay, so I think I got it pretty clean. So I'm going to come in here really close and show you guys how I put it back together. I'm going to see.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. So this sharp part should always go in the back. And then this little nub always touches this section right here. So you just kind of wiggle it back into place. Sometimes it takes a little bit of wiggling, and then you're good. See, it goes like that because this has to catch on that hook, and then this bumps around so that when the bobbin twirls, and not this. This should only move a little bit, but not a lot. Okay, so that's placed back in. Now I need to take the plate, slide it very carefully onto the feed dogs. You don't want to damage your feed dogs because once they're damaged and replacing them is kind of expensive. Okay. Then I'm going to take these gloves back off. I just put them on for when I was touching the oil because I know that every time I oil something, I end up touching it, not intentionally. It just ends up on my hand, and I'm just like, great. That's awesome. So I always recommend having some gloves or something nearby that you can put on your hands that you don't mind getting dirty. Okay. So I tend to like put it in by hand a little bit at first. And then I want to do that with the other side too before I screw it in place, just to make sure it's completely set right. So I've done it before where I only screwed one side in and then I couldn't actually screw in the other side. And I was like, oops, apparently I made it off kilter. And
the rule of thumb, whenever you're screwing things in, always kind of like screw a little bit to get everything like set and then screw them evenly rather than screwing one tight and then going to the next one.
Yeah, that's where, see, like right here, I had a hard time. And so I had to shift it because I just realized that this had actually shifted. So if I had done the other side, I would not have been able to do it. So now I'm just going to come in here and tighten it up. And most sewing machines are pretty similar when it comes to this area. Like there's not a whole lot of variation when it comes to bottom feeding.
There's two types. There's the front loading and the top and the bottom loading.
Yeah, there's a top loader and a bottom loader. I personally,
Yeah.
at first, I started with the top loaders, and then when I did my first bottom loader, I was confused. But over time, having used bottom loaders, I prefer them. They're easier to take care of. The top loaders actually have more complication with maintenance, and usually you have to hire someone because there's special tools that you have to use to access everything, since it's tied into like where the thread feeder is, and it's just
Well, I find that these ones are more user friendly.
yeah,
Easier
these are
for
user
beginners.
friendly.
Especially when you can see everything, like you can see it right
Also,
there.
if you're brand new and you want to know how to load a bobbin, I may as well show you. So you're going to take it to where the thread is always facing this way. You put it in, you slide it into the, like there should be like a little hook thing right here. So there's a tiny little hook that you slide the thread under, and then you just leave it there.
Sam, I would
Boom. And then use a needle to pull it out.
I would identify which way that turns, because the thread can go either way, over or under, so it turns counterclockwise.
Not with the Singer, so this way it turns, you see right here, the plate will always tell you which way it turns.
Oh, yeah.
So mine actually has, like, I actually should show this picture. So mine literally has a picture, so you do need to check with your manual and see which way it turns.
But what I'm saying is, like, if you hold the bobbin and pull the thread, the bobbin starts going counterclockwise.
Oh, yeah. No, that's why my thread has to go, like, this direction.
It's like over and under.
Yeah. So, and then this just stays here until you get a needle to come in and pick it up, and that's it. So
Dalton says, "Hey everyone, Shadow Claw here. Hey, thanks for watching." And Apprentice125 from YouTube says, "The dreaded bobbin." Yes, there are different types of bobbins too. So don't think that, like, hey, I just got a bobbin, it works. Sometimes if you got problems with some sort of threading and things, you just change your bobbin. And then there's metal bobbins. Metal bobbins don't work with these kinds of machines.
Yeah. So that is actually absolutely true, and they will tell you what bobbins to use and not to use. So now the thing with this one too is the accessing the top port is really weird. There's like a screw here, and then there's a screw on the other side. And the first time I tried to figure this out, I was like, how the heck do I get this thing off? It's so bizarre. It is in the strangest point. So while I'm here messing with this, if anybody has questions on other things, how did I do this last time? I have to figure out which end I used.
Dalton says, something I've also learned is that you'll have to take apart the bobbin chamber every so often and spray it with air and dust it. Otherwise, you get jams. So we just said that, like, just be careful using the compressed air because that can damage some mechanisms. But definitely you need to dust it out. Use a brush, clean it out. Use tweezers to pull out anything that's stuck.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to need a better screwdriver. I don't think this one's strong enough. So I'm going to go run away and get a screwdriver. I have one really close by. So pretty sure I left it over here.
All right, guys. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, like, some of the events that we've been doing in the past. Yesterday, we randomly went to, there's this restaurant locally called Comics. I didn't know they pronounced it that way because it's spelled Comic X. Oh, Mr. Doctor. Hi, Mr. Doctor.
You're fed, buddy.
That's Mr. Doctor.
He's like, he wants attention today.
He's like, can I be on the show? So Comic X is like this geeky themed restaurant. It's way in the North Valley. Sam and I live closer to like the Southeast Valley. I live in the Southeast Valley. So it's quite far, and I've never gone because it opened just around COVID or just before COVID. And then it's just so far away. I'm never usually in that area. But Comicare is a local charity superhero group that we know of.
Yeah.
So, I was like, okay, so they're actually hosting an event at Comics. Let's go check it out. Like, it sounds actual legit. So randomly, Sam's like, let's do the thing. And I'm like, okay. So got a bunch of people to come out.
Oh, that was a trick, by the way. If you can't get the screw out, I just grab a magnet, like a paper, like the weight that you use on the bottom of the feeder, and I just go get the screw out. So
very smart. Yeah. So we went out there for it's a really cool place. I guess they've like changed management or something, and they're trying to like host more events. The location's weird though because it's in this big shopping plaza. It's a popular plaza, but it just gets so crowded. And they had a little costume contest. It was just fun to be out there in costume. It'd been a while for me. I hadn't done anything really since ECCC, and even though there's tons of events popping up around the valley, like this was a little bit different because it was actually being hosted at an actual venue rather than like in the parking lot, you know. So we met the owners. They were really, really sweet. They wanted to do more stuff. So, you know, Sam and I spoke with the owners and maybe we'll do something out there. A lot of fun. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Looks crazy. Reminds me of like the Terminator or something, like when the Terminator's skin comes off.
It's like, come with me if you want to live.
Ashley says, this may be off topic, but would you recommend sewing fabric to Eva foam? You can.
That's where fabric care comes into difference. Sorry, I'm just in here working on a joint right now. So anything where you see metal to metal contact, I put like a drop of oil and then I just make sure it works. So the thing with sewing to EVA foam, you can do it. Just heads up, you will need to use a leather sewing needle. They're just a thicker gauge. They're sharper. They stay sharper longer because foam is notorious for making things much more dull. Also, understand that you cannot wash EVA foam. It will mold if it does not get dry enough. So you want to heat form it before you sew to it so that it's completely heat sealed. After you sew to it, the only way to disinfect it, it's going to be either 1 part like 99% alcohol to 1 part water to 1 part some kind of like nice smelling thing, or something like a Lysol fabric disinfectant or Odobon, which is a fabric and material disinfectant, just something that you're gonna have to spray and disinfect regularly. It does work really well. My recommendation though is to actually, if you're going to use EVA foam as like a reinforcer, instead sew the garment and then create a pocket, like a zipper pocket or a Velcro pocket that you can slide the foam into so that you can take the foam out, wash the garment, and then dry it and then put the foam back in later.
That's a good idea.
Because this little monster behind me, Yojimbo, has to be completely hand cared for, hand disinfected, because I worked with, I mean, I can wash it in a delicate cycle, but it's hit or miss about whether or not it will deform the fabric a little bit. I haven't had problems yet. The boob part is the one I'm always most nervous about, and I tend to just hand wash. But I have a lot of fabric paint and other things and specialized things I've done on this. And even though fabric paint is typically machine washable, you do see it fade more over time if you don't use a disinfectant method and you do use a machine wash method, even on a cold setting, because a machine washer, you know, a machine has a lot more metal components and things that the fabric's coming in contact with, so it will strip away over time that color. Whereas if you're disinfecting it with hand sprays and gently wiping it down with like Lysol wipes or spray disinfectant, you have a less of an issue with that.
I would also say that whatever it is that you're sewing, like the foam to fabric, make it detachable if you can, or if it's something that goes against your body, wear something else. Like always wear like an undershirt or something to alleviate the amount of sweat and like, you know, bodily fluids that can come in contact with that foam piece. That'll make it a lot easier to maintain. You'll just have to clean it less. But yeah, always try and keep anything, especially foam. Foam should not go, well, it depends on what you use it for, but foam typically should not go right against your body because that will pick up a lot of oils. If you can avoid it, a lot of times you can add that kind of like sticky felt piece to it over the foam. But yeah, typically foam, you don't want that directly on your body, even with a layer of fabric, because it'll soak up all those, you know.
I'm getting a little because there's a really far gear, so just put it on a little, like I soak a Q-tip with it and I can get what I need just in that far gear.
Dalton says that sounds like fun. Yeah, it was fun. It was really nice to hang out with the friends, and unfortunately we couldn't eat there, so we were at the contest and we had drinks and we're like, yeah, let's eat, and then it was like an hour and a half wait. So it was the first time I think they did something like that, so they weren't quite prepared. So we ended up going to Dave and Buster's for dinner, which was really yummy, and we got sat right away. So that was a nice experience. Next time I do want to try and eat there because the food that I saw coming out looked really good. Dalton says Lysol disinfectant sprays work wonders. I use it on all my cosplays, keeps it germ-free and smelling great. Fabric disinfectant spray. Ashley says, thanks again, Opal gown from Overlord. Thanks, Ains. Oh, I don't know if you mistyped that. I probably messed it up. So Sam's putting some oil. Again, you can see where metal pieces move together is usually where it needs oil.
Yep, and I think I just have a little bit more oil to put in one back area, and this section's complete. And then we can go to the grease section I was telling you guys about. And this is the thing. So, like, I could tell that my grease had worn out. Like, your machine's going to sound like it's straining. Also, it's really unusual because it's going to sound, not only is it going to sound like it's straining, it's going to sound as though it's going to have like a slight smell, like either old dust or burning dust is how I describe it, is the smell that comes out of a machine that needs grease. Okay, so I have given it all the oil that it requires. All the moving parts have been oiled. Everything's good here. As we can see, it's turning. I'm not getting any resistance here. It feels good. There's no problem. Everything looks nice. Everything where metal makes contact is working properly. So I think we're good here. I might put a little bit of oil. Let me see.
Shadow Claw says, "Can all machines use the same type of grease oil? I don't think I've ever done it to mine." Yeah, again, if you go to your local fabric shop or sewing supply shop, they usually do have like a generic sewing machine oil there. Sam's using a specific Singer brand, which then you for sure know that that is safe for your machine. But yeah, it should be easy to find, and you don't need much. So they come in pretty small bottles.
Okay, I think everything.
I have that same bottle.
So I will put this back together, and then I'm going to show you guys the really hard part. This is always like wonky getting it back together because there's like little clippy parts that you have to like get into place that are, if you don't line it up perfectly, it doesn't work.
Yeah, they're quite finicky.
Ah, okay. So
now I'm going to show you guys the other types of bobbin. And the reason why I haven't opened these yet is because I had found this vintage old machine at Goodwill. And I bought these. So I got the machine serviced. I just haven't used it yet. But this is the other type of bobbin that we were talking about. So this is the bobbin case. What is this actually called? Yeah, bobbin case. So these ones go like in the down below on the front. And it's got all these weird things, so it can be a little confusing. And this little thing is how to open it out and take it out. And then these metal bobbins go in them, so that's just a different type. So if you have these metal bobbins, just know that these are not compatible with like the one that Sam has, where you drop the bobbin in. So this is the different type of there we go. A different type of bobbin. So Sam's turned her machine upside down.
It has to be. It needs to give me its stuff.
Apprentice says, my machine is an old hand-me-down. I should probably clean it out sometime. So if you haven't cleaned it out for at least a year, that's definitely time. I would actually get it serviced. If you can find anyone. So I finally found just a local guy who used to work, like before the pandemic, he used to work for like machine services, and now he just does it on his own. He does really great work. A lot of fabric stores might know people that do independent machine repair, or you have a place that is like a sew and vac machine repair. Definitely get it serviced. It's not going to be cheap, but it's going to be worth it, especially an old hand-me-down. Who knows when the last time it was serviced, and definitely oiled. If you can't afford like service right now, at least clean it out and get it oiled.
Yeah, you usually don't have to grease it more than like once every 2 years, but you have to oil it usually every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the other ones.
And just think of like a car, like the car, like why you change your oil in a car, because all those pistons and other things, other car words use oil. But unlike a car, the oil goes away. But unlike a car, there's no place for a machine to hold the oil, so it just disappears into the ether. So, yeah. And if you don't have any tools, you can just use like a brush, a paintbrush, one of the cheap paintbrushes. Just make sure it's not the type that's really cheap that the actual fibers come out of it. So you want something that's okay, so not cheap, but a decent paintbrush with fibers that don't fall out, because that would be pointless.
Well, I think you can tell that I have animals because there's like hair on the feet of this too. It's funny.
Yeah, that's another thing, is if you do have animals, you probably need to clean more often, especially if you have cats that love to sit on your machines and stuff. So always keep an eye on that. And I think people often forget about the maintenance of your machine, especially if you don't use it that often. If you don't even use it that often, every project you could always just take a look at it, since it's less often. Wow, we're already at 12:45. If you guys have any more questions, just throw them in. Again, this is a Singer.
This is why, well, like, sewing machine maintenance and repair does take time. You can see now why people charge for this, because I know how to do this. I've done this many times, but like, if you're new to this and you don't know how, like, what gears are, and you're not familiar with like metal to metal contact, like I've had to maintenance other things before. So like, I've built computers and other things. This is familiar to me, but if you're not familiar with it, don't do it yourself. Like, honestly, pay someone to do it.
Especially when you have that instance where you put everything together and you're like, wait, where does this screw go?
Why did also with this machine, I have to be very careful with removing this plate, because there are snaps, and if I ruin the snaps, the replacements are really expensive. So, okay, this is what it looks like on the inside. It's just okay, so interesting, right? So you're probably like, well, how do I know what to? So you're gonna spin, and you see where that spinning is. That's how you know that's an area that you need to adjust. Where's my?
Oh, here comes my cat again.
There we go. This comes out, so makes it. I'm like, why is it sitting funny? Because I also have to get underneath here.
There's my cat. So, geez, Kiwi, can you really? So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let us know. I have a computerized machine, so I'm more often than not getting it sent out if something's wrong that I can't figure out. If I can't figure it out with just the pieces, just the mechanics of it, I have to send it out.
Okay.
And sometimes it's beyond what we can do, So for example, like the bobbin case that Sam had pulled out, that black piece, on my machine, it was damaged. I don't know how, but I had to get that replaced. And that takes, for my machine,
it took this and this and this and these three items need grease. Not oil, grease. So I bought super lube.
Super lube.
It's literally called super lube. I thought someone was teasing when they were telling me, because I tried the like Singer grade grease, but it's like $30, and they're like, just get the $5 tube of super lube. Really? And this is from like a sewing machine repair person. And they're like, yeah, I don't pay for like that expensive stuff. It's stupid. So I'm putting on my gloves because you don't want to do this, but like I do recommend applying it with a Q-tip so you have more control. It comes out looking like this.
Yeah.
You're just gonna start rotating.
Ow! Kiwi!
Your cat is being grumpy.
She's like, can you just get off the stream and pay attention to me? What is your deal? Goodness gracious.
So you apply this liberally and start rotating it.
Can I help you?
And you're going to see that it starts spreading, which is good. You want it to do that. You want lots of grease on here to where you're not sure if that's a gear anymore.
No, don't bite me. This cat is spoiled AF, y'all. Spoiled AF. Yes, can I help you? Goodness.
So when I was sewing the other day, I smelled this and I was like, oh, this gear has no grease on it. I could smell that good old metal to metal grind.
Oh no. No, don't bite me. This cat. So while Sam is greasing, I just want to talk about kind of our upcoming things. I know we had announced previously that we were going to do the Cosplay Universe movie screening in April. We've actually are most likely going to be moving this closer to UwuCon. So I do apologize, guys, if you were looking forward to that. So it is not happening in April, but it is happening. We just need to finalize some more details. So it'll probably be closer to the fall.
It's just distributor complications.
Yeah, but also like we
also might have some guest options in October.
Yes. But we also, Sam and I have been, can I say, or I can say, right? What we do, what we're doing? I mean, who we are.
Yes, because it's official now. They signed the document.
Oh, yeah. So Sam and I, aka Cost Talk Live, but Sam and I are going to be the official cosplay and programming coordinators for UwuCon. Woohoo! So if you guys know, last year we were brought on kind of last minute. So, you know, there was a lot of things that were out of our control, but they loved working with us. We loved working with them. And so we are now in the planning stages. So we've got a lot more time, a lot more, you know, well, a lot more freedoms, a lot more to work with. So Sam and I have been already working on UwuCon's cosplay and programming, which is really exciting. So yeah, if you guys didn't go last year but saw pics, you need to come this year, and because we'll be there, obviously. Apprentice says, "Sweet, congrats, thank you so much." And it's going to be so much fun. I'm just like, even the meetings, I'm like, I love these meetings. So, ooh, Amazon guy's coming. I can see him out my window. My cat's like, what's going on? Kiwi's like, who's that? So that's super exciting. That's kind of why I personally have been taking a step back from doing events and stuff, because I need to have time to do my own creating, as well as Cost Talk Live. I got cat hair all over me, as well as Uwu. So we're super excited for Uwu. God, I just can't wait until they announce more stuff, because we just can't say anything else. So
there's some cool stuff going on.
Lots of cool stuff. Lots of cool stuff. But until then, you know, we've got, and we'll have some pop-ups coming up here and there with Cost Talk, cost swaps and stuff. So those are still coming. But yeah.
All right, now it's just the last little bit of oil in any metal touching zones, which we have a few of here.
Oh, the cat's done inspecting. She's coming back. Come here.
All right, and ooh, I accidentally squeezed a little too much oil. It squirted.
Okay,
it's gonna be on my table. No, it's okay. It's just oil.
There, cat cam.
Oil.
I get that to stay. That's as good as it's gonna get. There, now you guys can see my cat instead of me, and my messy space. Forgive my messy space. I just had family over and had to clean the rest of the house, and so my space got sacrificed. Yeah. Look at this little catty. How many of you out there have cats? Woohoo! Apprentice says, I wasn't sure about it last year after the initial announcement, but it sounds like it went over well. I'll look into going this year. Ew, that was really gross.
Yeah, that's old grease.
Old grease. Yeah, absolutely. Like, definitely, you know, we think we can almost guarantee you're gonna have a great time. Like, there's gonna be so much cool shit. Stuff. Oops. Sorry, YouTube.
Huh?
I said a naughty word. Hopefully they don't block me.
You said a bad word?
Cool stuff.
Hey, you said it further into we're almost done with the stream, so it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to say it within like 5 minutes of the stream. I think you're okay.
Yeah. So definitely will be a lot of fun. Yeah, gosh, I really just want to like bleh, but I can't.
All right. I can take all these gloves off and I can put all this together, and that is how you grease and oil a machine. It's not that complicated. The hardest part is making sure that you get all of the pieces, and that you avoid any of those. Like in here, you avoid any of the electrical here, and you avoid the fan and the capacitor. So there's a battery and a fan in here, and then this is the chip that controls some of the, like, well, not a chip, but like a program that controls some of the settings for the different stitch types. But overall, it's not overly complicated. It's just a lot of work and you have to be very careful with how you apply it. But you're supposed to apply oil and grease liberally because you do want, like, machine parts like oil and grease. So don't skimp out on it and give it as much as it wants.
With the beauty of YouTube these days, you can probably type in your sewing machine's model, and there's probably a guide on how to do it yourself. Yes. If you're comfortable enough to do it, if you've never done it before, I mean, I would just watch the video to familiarize yourself, but probably get someone else to help you. But if you are pretty handy and you kind of know a couple of mechanical things, you can give it a shot. Because again, like Sam said, it can be a minimum of like $100, $150 to get your machine serviced, depending on what it is. Again, like Apprentice, you said you have an old hand-me-down. I don't know how old it is. Some of them that are like,
well, the reason it's $100, so usually it's $50, $50 to $65 or $70 for a full grease tune-up. And when they tune it up too, they adjust like the way that the needle sets. They make sure everything's attuned properly.
Unless it's a digital.
Grease and oil, usually only $50.
Unless it's a computerized machine, they do charge a minimum because they have to.
Because they have to take apart the entire microchip and motherboard because they put it on top of where all the gears are.
Yeah, so just keep aware of that. If you have a basic, like a non-computerized machine like Sam's, it's going to be cheaper. Your hand-me-down machine is probably that. It's an older Kenmore. Kenmores are great. They last forever. Oh, look, there's Zeke. Zeke's just coming. Kenmores are great because they're actually made by Singer. So Kenmore machines were made by Singer. So they're just as durable. That's great. If it's a full metal machine, that's even better because those last forever. So an older Kenmore can definitely use some Singer. I think actually the one I found at Goodwill is a Kenmore, but it's a metal one. It's heavy. So that's why I bought those metal bobbins and stuff. But it definitely will be worth it to put it into service. And yours probably isn't computerized, so you'll probably be okay. So yeah. So I actually have a hard stop at 1, Sam. We've got 3 minutes because I've got to go to my work thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it. I just have to put it back together. So you can.
If you guys have any more questions, throw your questions in the chat. Even if they're just for us, like we'll answer them as best we can. As far as next week, we might be taking next week off. We'll make an announcement.
We've got like a lot going on. So, and we have a potential offer to see a Dungeons and Dragons movie. Mm-hmm. So we love you guys, but free movie sounds pretty awesome.
So yeah, so we might be off next week. The week after that, Sam is going to be in SakuraCon, but I'll be on.
I'll try to stream from SakuraCon. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you can jump in if you've got, like, if maybe you can go to the new convention center and stream from there.
Maybe
because they have some programs going on in there, and then I'll be putting out our new schedule hopefully through May. And then once June hits, like the first weekend of June, that's Phoenix Fan Fusion, and we will be streaming from Phoenix Fan Fusion in June. So,
well, are we going to stream from Fan Fusion?
Yes, panel at 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yep. Okay. All right. I'm going to put this back together separately. Oh wait, I'm being a derp. This is actually supposed to. I'm pretty sure this goes in here.
You're being a derp.
I'm being a derp.
I will go ahead and start with our outro. Other than next week, because we may not be available, we stream live every Sunday at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard or Pacific Daylight Time on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Do
we not have the? Yeah, I'll figure this out in a second, guys. I'm gonna close out and then I'll get the rest.
Very useful. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, everybody. You can always catch us on. Also, we have Instagram as well. Cost Talk Live. I am Jinx at the Jinx Cosplay on Facebook, Instagram. Oh, and then Sam and I are gonna start gaming on Twitch together. which is kind of unrelated to our cosplay stuff, but we might call it Cost Talk Plays, but it'll be a casual thing. So keep an eye out for that because I game every night, and I'm like, I need to start streaming again. So Sam and I are gonna play some games.
Yes,
And
we
Sam,
are.
what's your outro?
My outro is I
you-
just threw my camera.
Before you
so-
destroy your machine.
Yeah, anyways, we're just gonna be like, here you go, this is what you get to look at. So I'm Sam from Thermo Cosplay. You can find me at thermocosplay.com, or you can find me here at costalk-live.com. I will be at Zing Fu Tang this afternoon acquiring some boba as well. So we will let you guys go. I will finish putting this back together because my brain just broke for a second, and then I found the other screw and I realized what was going on, and we're all good. So have a good day,
All
everybody.
right.
We'll see you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Thanks for
everyone.
tuning
Bye.
in.